2023 has kicked off so slowly that by now, in comparison to previous years, you'd think nothing interesting will be released in this year. Truth is, there are many male Seiyuu artists and bands that have been holding off from releasing new full-length albums, and as such, this is actually one of the most exciting years for fans of male Seiyuu music. Let's kick off this episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyuu Lounge, I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is 2023 will be an awesome year for fans of male Seiyuu artists. It's been a while since I had an episode of Seiyuu Lounge in which I talk about expectations. Seeing as this year has kicked off rather slowly for fans of male Seiyuu artists, you'd be mistaken to think that the rest of the year will be as uneventful. Truth is, 2023 has the potential to become a year to remember, given how many high-profile male Seiyuu artists and bands have yet to release a full-length album, or it has been a while since they last released a full-length album. In this episode, let's go over 10 CDs that will probably be released in 2023 and one CD that is already confirmed for a release. The confirmation: Shotawoi's third full-length album. Who remembers Shotawoi's second full-length album, Zero? It was released in 2017 and left quite the mark as one of the best pop albums released that year. It was also Shotawoi's best album released to date, bringing to the spotlight good old dance hits alongside new tunes that made fans excited, made them cry, and overall fully appreciate the talent that Shotawoi has as a singer, performer, lyricist, and even composer. But it has been 6 years since he released a cohesive album. There have been plenty of awesome singles released in the meantime, and it is expected that the leading tracks in all of them will be featured in his album alongside 4 or 5 new songs. On my end, I am quite excited about the possibility of I Am, Shotawoi's best song released to date, and an amazing B-side track in the single Eclipse makes the cut and we get an emotional or ballad-driven corner within the album. Aoi is a talented singer with an amazing tenor range, and I'd love to find technical performances from him in this album. Nothing puts a massive smile on my face than to listen to a singer excel at what they do. This is easily the most anticipated CD release of 2023, at least when you take into account that Aoi's fans have been waiting for it for 6 years. The potential album releases. When it comes to potential album releases, there is plenty of excitement for a specific trio of solo artists: Yumu Uchida, Makoto Furukawa, and Soma Saito. Easily the most technical and innovative male Seiyuu artists currently active in Japan, these three have been impressive with each album they release, continuously raising the bar and delivering performances that make our jaws drop in awe. It is undeniable the technicality that these 2 tenors and 1 baritone have. Yumu Uchida's third full-length album. Highly anticipated and rumored to be announced during Yumu Uchida's new live tour kicking off later in May, this third album has the potential to shake up things for pop and R&B Seiyuu solo artists. Yumu Uchida has been on a good spell, releasing engaging, fun, and at the same time, emotional and highly technical singles. I believe it is about time a new full-length album is released, especially when you notice that Yumu Uchida releases one every 2 years, so it is time for that to happen. Makoto Furukawa's second full-length album. While not as appreciated as Yumu Uchida, Makoto Furukawa may be back with a new full-length album by the end of 2023. The talented singer and lyricist has been impressing with a unique brand of jazz music, now not as a purist, but welcoming acid jazz, rock and R&B ballads into the mix. At the same time, he was on a perfect streak of releases in 2022 with Warebara ni Insu and Ibara Rimbu Kyoku, something that was begging for a follow-up album to neatly wrap up the year. As we arrive in 2023, Makoto Furukawa has yet to announce any music, and at the time of writing this feature, there is no indication that he may be making a comeback any sooner. However, taking into account that Makoto Furukawa loves his albums to feel like going through a story and that it takes time to craft that story, not to mention that he has been extremely busy as a Seiyuu, make it so that it is expected he will release music in 2023, however, only later in the year. Soma Saito's third full-length album. Despite a ridiculously busy 2022 in which Saito couldn't catch a break to compose or write all the music he wanted, and he still managed to release 2 astounding EPs, My Beautiful Valentine and Yin Yang, Soma Saito may find in the quiet 2023 an opportunity to strike when it hurts with a new album. Since the release of Yin Yang in December 2022, Saito has been quiet about his music, although he did tell fans he'd be releasing more music, just not as soon as many would wish. For those of you that pay close attention to release schedules and marketing strategies for Seiyuu artists, Soma Saito follows patterns in the CDs he releases and when he releases them. And he follows a schedule that usually matches the only times of the year in which he is experiencing some free time. December is his month of choice, so it is expected he will release a full-length album to follow up to 2020's mind-blowing In Bloom and as a direct follow-up to the equally mind-blowing Yin Yang. Saito has mentioned that if he gets decent free time to compose and record, he'd love to release a double album, but given how in demand he is for one of the most anticipated anime reboots in the past couple of years, Rurouni Kenshin, it is quite possibly impossible he will pull that off this year. Perhaps around the time of his debut anniversary, June, fans will get a digital single to whet that appetite for the big release later this year, potentially in December. One thing is for certain, Soma Saito will be releasing new music in 2023. In which format? That is for you and I to wait and see. In the meantime, let's put on repeat his past 3 CDs as they are masterpieces in storytelling and composition. Toshiki Masuda's third album. Well, Toshiki Masuda has been quite impressive in the last couple of years. I'm quite fond of his voice for what is now 13 years, but the growth he has shown in recent years as a singer has made me pay a lot of attention to his solo career. He has a simple rock sound that brings back memories from the 90s, early noughties, and he doesn't focus too much or at all in promoting his music with big marketing campaigns, and when you least notice, Toshiki Masuda is effortlessly behind Soma Saito and Mamoru Miyano as one of the 3 best-selling Seiyuu artists per CD sales. He has a tasteful, intense rock sound that works without any fancy stuff on top. His vibrato-led singing style is gentle and powerful at the same time. And if his performances in Origin and Midnight Dancer are anything to go by, he's en route to release something really special. Now, while Toshiki Masuda is all kinds of awesome as a solo artist, there is a big, unpredictable side to his solo career. He doesn't follow release cycles like pop artists, a couple of singles leading up to albums, nor the cycle of a rock artist, release one EP and then an album. Masuda simply appears with a full-length album out of nowhere, sometimes with years between releases. With that being said, I think that's the ideal thing for Masuda to keep up the momentum he got from Midnight Dancer in 2022 would have been to follow it up with an album or EP release in summer of 2022. Something that did not happen. So as it is, interest for Masuda's music has died down quite a lot, unless his music label gets him to perform another song for an anime series. Out of all names I mentioned in this feature, Toshiki Masuda is right there with the most unpredictable, as he hasn't had a consistent release schedule since his debut. So let's see what 2023 has in store for Toshiki Masuda's fans. Kotaro Nishiyama's first full-length album. City pop is underappreciated among male seiyuu artists, with very few fully embracing it, while others only flirt with the concept or the sonority. However, there is one male seiyuu artist you can always trust will bring you a full-on city pop mini-album filled with stylish songs and unique performances. It is Kotaro Nishiyama. The talented solo artist has been under the radar for the past year, after releasing the stylish mini-album Laundry in 2021. Given how much time has passed and how Kotaro Nishiyama has yet to release a full-length album since his debut, I dare say this year would be perfect for that. Gakuto Kajiwara's first full-length album. Gakuto Kajiwara is yet another seiyuu artist that has been impressing with a unique sound and compositions that make him seem like a veteran artist when, in fact, he only has a couple of years of experience in the field. I'm quite fond of Kajiwara's unique crystal clear singing tone, something that no other seiyuu has, and his feel-good, mature semi-acoustic rock meets jazz sound. I'd certainly love to hear more and see where Kajiwara takes his music next. And a full-length album will be the perfect challenge, as it will require a perfect balance between previously released songs, the lead singles, and any new tracks that album will include. And I am genuinely curious about what Kajiwara may pull off if a full-length album is released. Given how Kajiwara has released various singles and mini-albums, it's about time a full-length album is released, and my bet is that it is dropping this year. Jin Ogasawara's first full-length album. Yet another seiyuu artist impressing me a whole lot in the past couple of single releases is Jin Ogasawara. After experimenting with a series of digital singles in which he tested the limits of his singing skills, showcased more of his vocal range, played around with different music genres, and worked with various composers while also writing lyrics for his own songs, I can bet Jin Ogasawara is eager to release something more robust. And that's where a full-length album fits. With so much music released so far, various singles from physical to digital ones, it's time to bring some consistency to his repertoire and release a CD that is more concise. In a way, an album is perfect to showcase throughout its tracklist how much Ogasawara is growing as a solo artist, better illustrating that than by releasing digital singles here and there. But in a way, I can understand why he has been releasing digital singles. They are low risk, high reward, whereas an album can tank, especially for a seiyuu artist with a small following as Jin Ogasawara. Still, I believe it would be awesome to see how Ogasawara would challenge himself in a full-length album, and given how much music he has released so far, it is about time an album is released. Gran Rodeo's full-length album. Gran Rodeo isn't particularly a band that releases music on a tight, predictable schedule. With that being said, their last full-length album was Question, which was released in 2022. They've released albums with 2 or 3 years of difference. However, given how the band has drastically reduced the frequency with which they release new singles, there is a path open to release a full-length album that is almost entirely new. Will this happen? I feel like this is the most unlikely of all my predictions in this feature, but still, I'd love for that to happen. After all, this band always releases top-tier rock tunes with stellar performances, well worth checking out. Toshiyuki Toyonaga's full-length album. Toshiyuki Toyonaga confirmed in 2022 that he has been working on new music. Now, given the time that Toyonaga has been taking to work on such music, it is safe to say that he is not working on a single or even an EP. This seems like it is going to be a large-scale release, potentially a full-length album. There is no confirmation from Toyonaga regarding the format of the release nor when it will be released, but one thing is for certain, there will be new music released this year by the talented singer-songwriter. Gyroaxia's new album. And lastly comes Gyroaxia. Since signing up with Universal Music Japan, the rock band featuring vocals by Jin Ogasawara released the stellar mini-album Freestyle, but after that, well, nothing happened. The band has shown glimpses of a new song, but other than that, it's been radio silent for 1 full year. What seemed like an exciting jump to a renowned music label that could take the band to amazing heights has turned into something quite disappointing. Given the talent that this band has and how amazing they are with their heavy rock sound, now with a splash of shock rock and electronica on top, I believe I'm not the only one wishing for more music from Gyroaxia. So could this 1 year of silence mean that the band will approach music in a more concise way, releasing albums and EPs or mini-albums with quite some time apart instead of releasing singles frequently? Honestly, I prefer the band releases mini-albums or albums, as those are better at showcasing what a band can do and allows for more experimentation even within a concise theme or tone. I'm expecting Gyroaxia to arrive with a bang in 2023, bringing a first full-length album released under a major music label. Let's see what awaits us. "2023 has the potential to turn into one of the best ever years for fans of male Seiyuu artists. The biggest profile Seiyuu artists, Yu Mochida and Soma Saito, are most certainly releasing new albums this year. There are so many male Seiyuu artists that have yet to release their first full-length albums despite having released several singles, digital releases or mini-albums up until now. And there are staples of quality among Seiyuu artists, Toshiyuki Toyonaga and Gran Rodeo, that may end up joining in the fun with an album of their own. If any of these male Seiyuu artists or bands manages to release a full-length album in 2023, it will be pretty awesome. However, chances are most, if not all, these artists will be releasing albums this year. So prepare your wallets, because this year has the potential to steal all your money, while at the same time end up being the best year so far in this decade for fans of high-quality male Seiyuu artist music. Now tell me, which male Seiyuu artist do you think will be releasing an album in 2023? And is there any male Seiyuu artist that you would add to this list? Let me know in the comments on YouTube, and remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of Seiyuu Lounge. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the hand that feeds HQ's weekly male Seiyuu and music-related content. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyuu Lounge. And be ready for April Fool's shenanigans. Thank you for listening, and see you guys around.